Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today let's talk about some Game of Thrones. The recent episode just ended, and I loved it. I really liked it. Now listen, last week I said it felt like they pulled back a little bit and they were setting up some story. This week I felt like they were pulling back a little bit as well, setting up some story, but also punching you in the face with emotion. I think it was great, especially in the beginning when Sansa got there. Now, last week I talked about being worried that Jon Snow would leave. He would just bounce before Sansa got there. And when they showed her getting to the gates, I was like, yes. And we knew he was sitting down eating. So when they had their reunion there, I just thought it was perfect. Perfectly played by the actors. The timing, the pacing in the season overall, and this has to do with pacing, giving those emotional moments as like rewards to the fans, to the viewers. That's something I talked about, I believe, in episode 2 or maybe even the premiere episode. But I think the placement in the season at this time was just absolutely perfect. I love that. I know I hear some fans talking about those two getting together as like romantically, and that kind of threw me off. I did not see that coming, or I did not see that prediction or those theories even coming, to be honest with you. I was kind of blindsided with that because I was so happy and thrilled with their bond as family that I heard that and I was like, wait a minute, even if he's not a half-brother, right, because even if he's not the bastard son of Ned Stark and he's actually the son of Ned's sister, that would still make them cousins. So they're still blood related. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying. Next, I want to talk about Littlefinger because that kind of connects into Sansa's story. Not kinda. That really does. That slimy son of a bitch. I don't like Littlefinger. I don't like the guy. I think he's a slime ball. With him, it felt like his scene was to show that he's using the prince as a puppet. Is he a king or prince? I don't know. I mean, his whole family's dead, right? So he'd be the king, but he's a little boy, so he's prince. I don't know how that works. Anyway, I thought it was showing, how he uses him as a little puppet. And he's a little psycho, little bastard. So essentially, Littlefinger would have the power of the veil, right? If he gets in his ear and he's telling him what to do and, using him as a puppet, even though he is like a wild dog at times, because he was just like, let's throw the guy through the moon door. Even Littlefinger was like, no, let's hold off. He could be of some use to us, Let's talk about the shoemaker, and this is the bastard monk, the guy I can't stand. Now listen, I can't stand him in a good way. It's not like I see the actor and I'm like, oh, he's terrible, get him off screen. I can't stand the character in an authentic way, because the actor's doing such a good job. I feel dirty watching him, because I think he's such a slime ball. But he's so good at it, and I absolutely love him. So when I talk shit on him, it's in a good way. The actor's doing such a good job. The writing's so good. I hate this character. I don't hate him as in, like, it's a bad character. You get what I'm saying. But I hate him the way we're supposed to hate him. Or some of us are supposed to hate him. But the thing here that I loved is the shoemaker story. Now, before I thought it was going to be some cliche bullshit where it's like, well, I'm poor, so I don't have shoes because that's what poor people do, blah, 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 I thought it would be something stupid like that, but I was completely wrong. They had a really cool story where he was a shoemaker, used to invest his time, into making these quality shoes just so he can taste the rich life, and then he woke up one day at a party with hookers and coke and, beer and whatever, so he wakes up and he's just looking around at everyone. He just bounces, doesn't even take his shoes. I just love that. He doesn't wear shoes now. He used to be a shoemaker. I mean, I don't need much more than that. I love the story. I thought it fit beautifully. And I want to talk just briefly on a civil war because, all this season I've been thinking, man, why don't they just wipe these monks out? Like, just go wipe them out. You can fight an invading army, right? But if it is a full-blown civil war the way they were talking and discussing in this episode, then, okay, that makes a lot more sense because, that could be a crushing blow. You got to be careful with how you act in that situation. So I get it now. Before I wasn't getting it so much. Let's talk about the letter that Ramsay sent to Jon. This also I thought was perfect because it wasn't just Jon being put in a situation where now he gotta go and recruit the wildlings. We're done with that bullshit. Jon and the wildlings they have built a special pact, you know what I mean? But the wildlings being there at the table when he got to read that letter, Sansa, all the bullshit she's been through, her entire life, not just Ramsay, her entire life, after the start of season 1 when she got 1 or 2 good episodes, the poor girl. And you have Thormund there there, and that was probably the best part. And I love just him being there, because when Jon's reading out the letter for Ramsay's threats, Ramsay's threatening him, even if the wildling's like, you know what, we can't be a part of this, you know, you are, because he's going to come and kill you regardless. They're not going to be like, oh, you don't talk to Jon Snow no more? Well, we're going to kill you anyway, you know? So I thought that was great just having him there. Sansa finishing the letter as well, I thought that was like a little powerful touch. I like how they moved that. I think it did a lot for her character. Her character stepped it up a notch. Let's talk about Ramsay and Osha's death here. I thought that was great. Stab that bitch. I didn't see that coming. I mean, I thought they would have some playful thing, and I thought she would get tortured eventually, and that would be a horrible end for a couple episodes, and then maybe she would even escape. I don't know how that would go down, but he just kills her in this episode. I thought that was a surprise. It is a shame, though, that she had an important role for a minute, and then she went away for so long to where now her death just kind of felt like, okay, you brought her back, killed her, that's it. You know what I mean? Mother of Dragons will finish with her because she had the last final badass scene. The whole time I had the Terminator music playing in my head, which that was pretty badass. You know what? As badass as that scene was, I think the most discussion happening after that I saw on social media was whether or not that was her body. I think that's the biggest discussion, because there was something with the CGI, with the flames behind her. I mean, they're not going to film that close, because even getting that close, you know, in real life would burn her, you know, badly, obviously. But the fact that something was off with the CGI. It really did look like it was off, and it could just be bad CGI or not, you know, as good of CGI. A lot of it looked real good, especially far away shots, but there was just something with her standing there. And so when a lot of fans are talking about how that's just her head over, you know, a body double's body, because she did stipulate, I guess in season 2 or something like that, a lot of fans are talking about how she wanted a contract where there's no more nudity, because she wanted to be known for her acting more than her body or something like that, which it's odd, because after that she went ahead and did that Terminator movie, which really. Oh, and fans also said that she came out and said that was her body, whoop-de-whoop. Now here's where I stand with that. Listen, I understand and I respect that completely. If you want to be like, listen, I don't want to just be a piece of ass, I want my acting to, you know, go ahead of being a piece of ass, whatever, whoop-de-whoop, okay, cut out some sex scenes, yada yada yada, that's fine, because a lot of times they're pretty pointless. But something like this, I would disagree with that. Like this is something different. This is just your clothes burning off when you're coming out of a fire. Like, it's your body. It's a body. You know, it's just a natural thing. It's your body. It's natural. You just come out of the fire. And the scene, I believe, justified it. You know what I mean? The scene itself, what it represented for the character, and that scene is badass. This had a purpose in the story, and I thought it was great. So again, I don't think she threw up a fit. I see a lot of people going, oh yeah, it looked bad because she was complaining about showing her body. I don't believe that's the case. If it is, okay, I'm wrong. I just don't see it being the case. That seems like something silly and really stupid to throw a bitch a fit about, you know? It wasn't a graphic scene. It was pretty badass. It was a pretty empowering scene, especially for a female. I thought it was perfect. Well done, especially with the fire and the way she ended that with, like, you guys are pathetic, you know? None of you can lead, but I can. And the dude is like, oh really, I'm gonna make you my bitch, and then he got toasted, you know? So that was absolutely great. Anyway, so I think that is it with everything in the Game of Thrones. Again, I don't dive deep. I'm not a book reader. I just watch the show, really enjoy what's happening in the show, so we discuss. But feel free, if you want to clue me in on stuff that's happening in the book, you want to correct me on how I pronounce some names, have at it. Help out. Put those thoughts and opinions down in that comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn. Subscribe now.